Hello there, Geek Collective, and welcome to Geeks Plus Comics, where we are more than just your average geek. And it has been a long time, but welcome back to the Indie Comic Book Club. It's been a little while since we've been here for an Indie Comic Book Club. A lot of stuff's been going on. We've had a lot of behind-the-scenes stuff happening. If you've not seen my recent Let's Talk Comic interviews, you might not realise I have moved. I clearly have a different setup behind me. There has been a whole host of stuff going on. But we are back, and I am joined by LG the Paladin, as we are ready to jump into something that has been on the Indie Comic Book Club list for a long time. We've been wanting to talk about this for a long, long time, for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, The Last Ronin. LG's looks better, mine's is backwards. Thank you, Discord.
Do you have the hardback one?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know if they made them all that way, or...
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know if they're all that way, but I got a hardback one, and I'm like, it's so worth it.
It's pretty nice. Nice and shiny.
If you're watching this, there is a good chance that you probably already know what The Last Ronin is. The book has been out for a while now. It has been nothing but praised for the storytelling in it, for the art in it, for everything about it, as the basically, like, you know, last turtle on Earth, post-apocalyptic-esque feeling story of the end of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, essentially, is what it's basically put over as. If for some reason you have not read this book, if for some reason you have not checked out this book, please go and check it out for yourself. It is worth sitting down and getting into yourself. We would love you to come back, love you to hang out with us and talk with us about it, but please check it out for yourself. We are also going to go into the full story. We are going to go into full spoilers. And there's spoilers of stuff that go right from the end of the first issue. There's stuff that gets spoiled. So, like, if you don't want any spoilers, this is a chance to duck out, to not be part of this, to avoid the conversation. If you're sticking around, it's your own fault at this point. But LJ, what did you think of this book? And when did you kind of first hear about this book? And what are your first thoughts on it? And what did you think of it?
So I definitely heard about it as it was coming out. I feel like who The Last Ronin is was honestly like a terribly kept secret because of the internet. So it was really neat to see how it was built up in this story that just felt like a continuation of everything people knew and loved. I mean, the Turtles comics have been running for years anyway, obviously.
Yeah.
I first read this on digital. I bought it somewhere on sale off of like Comixology, I think, when Comixology was still around. And so I had read it a few years ago, and then for whatever reason, I don't know if they used to do this stuff on like when they would have sales, but the last volume was like left out. So that was kind of like, I was like, okay, like that's odd. So I never got the chance to finish it. And so when we talked about doing this one, and I was like, okay, cool. This just feels like something that's been like long overdue for me. I'm sure like a lot of people, like a lot of us grew up with the Turtles and stuff like that in various shape or form. And so this just felt like a story that like grew like the Turtles kind of grew up with us. This just felt like, oh, we're all adults now, so here's an adult story. And it's just like you hadn't seen the Turtles for years, and it just kind of picks up off of this story that is definitely like tragic. But it's really good. It's impressive, and the all the ways they call back to the original series is fantastic. Like, to the point of like down to the art style of some moments and stuff like that. It was just, it's super cool just to read it. Like, I feel like even if you don't read a ton of comics, like, you know the Turtles, like you know Ninja Turtles probably, and this is one that's like, this is like a must read for sure.
It's really cool that they did this as a comic.
Yeah.
Because I know there's been talks of this becoming a movie and stuff and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
But this very easily could have been a movie, or very easily could have been a TV show, or a mini series or something. It feels very fitting for it to be a comic, considering that's where the Turtles started. They started as a comic book.
Yeah, I mean, Kevin Eastman himself,
Yeah,
you know,
Kevin
worked on
Eastman is
this
the
from.
creator. Like praise to Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird, the creators of the Turtles. Like they've
Yeah,
stuck with it, and they're the ones doing this comic. Like no one knows the creation inside and out. Kevin
yeah.
Eastman, lovely man, by the way, massive shout out. Speaking of the Last Ronin, actually got a Last Ronin issue 1 signed by Kevin Eastman when we went to
Oh, that's
when I
cool.
went to C2E2 a couple of years ago, which was a freaking ridiculous line to stand in. Let me tell you, I was standing there for a
Oh, I
while. The
bet,
line for
dude. That
Eastman
was
was
worth it, though.
huge.
That had to have
Um,
been worth it.
just to beat the guy was awesome. And I've got the first issue of Last Ronin that's got the variant cover of like his like original kind of turtle style. Like you see it in here, like the Last Ronin, like in that original kind of cartoony style. That's the front cover of it. So I've got that signed by him, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool. Um, but yeah, like I grew up in the Turtles. We all grew up in the Turtles. I don't know anybody that's around our age that didn't grow up in the Turtles.
Right.
The Turtles have cracked pop culture for decades.
Yeah.
Like we grew up, everyone knows the theme song. Everyone knows Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. Like everyone knows it. Everyone knows what they look like. Everyone
Yeah.
knows their names. Like it's pop culture. If you've never read
Yeah.
a comic, if you've never watched the cartoon, any of the cartoons, like how many cartoons there's been since we watched that original one for the 80s, there's been so
Yeah.
many. Like whatever iteration of the Turtles, like I think we're in like the fifth or sixth version of like a cartoon series at this point with the Mutant Mayhem
Yeah.
stuff.
It's like I'm showing my nephew the Ninja Turtles, like because of, like the new movie. Like I took him to see that in
Yeah.
theaters. Like it's a they're a generational name.
Yeah, my kids, like my son, he loves the Mutant Mayhem movie. He absolutely adored it.
Yes,
I remember when he
yes,
was younger showing him like the old the Nickelodeon one, the 3D animation one that came out in
yeah.
2012, which was actually a lot better than I thought it was going to be when I started watching it with him.
Mm,
Um, like I grew up on this. We grew up in this.
yeah.
We had the 1990s turtle movies, a live action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle
Hmm.
movies and stuff, and like they have been a part of culture for so long.
I can still
So
remember the day my brother like handed me down all his old toys, like from this old duffel bag. I'm just like, that was it after that. Like that
yeah,
was.
I still remember having like the turtles toys and the crappy like weapons that you had to break out the little thing that you immediately lost. Like pretty
Yeah.
much almost immediately. The weird turtle changers that would like transform into actual turtles. Like you would like open the back and
Yes.
spin the head and put the
Yep.
arms and legs
Yep.
in.
I had one of those.
Like I remember all that. I grew up on the turtles, and then I
Yeah.
heard about the Last Ronin,
Yeah.
and it's like I don't know if it's just one of those like it's not just growing up in the turtles, but we grew up on movies like this,
Yeah.
like the post-apocalyptic, very like last hero standing, like 80s action movies, like him breaking into New York gives me very like like Escape from New York vibes, like
Yes.
stuff like that, and with this post-apocalyptic rundown New York, and it's like this is completely in line with that, and
Oh yeah.
I you can predict where the story's going, but yet you can't predict it at the same time. It feels like when you get to
Yes.
the end, it's like it makes sense that the story went this way, but I
Yeah.
also couldn't predict where it was going.
There's some good twists in there.
There really are. There's some really great twists. And it brought this
Yeah.
Turtles for me down to a place that I had never thought of before. Because like growing up, you watch the Turtles, and the Turtles are superheroes. They're saving
Yeah.
the world. They're saving, protecting the world from Shredder and Krang and Bebop and Rocksteady and all these other mutants. And they're saving it, fending off Baxter Stockman and his robots and all this stuff.
Yeah.
This brought it down to in a way that I never really thought about before. Of what
Yeah.
it boils down to is a generational feud between the
Yeah.
Oroku and the Hamato clans.
Yeah.
And the last standing Oroku, Karai's son, I can't remember his name, Hamato, I think it is, something like, no, Hamato's their family name, I can't remember his name.
Harat. Oh gosh, I gotta
It's
look
very
at it again.
similar to that, and I've
It's like
completely blanked.
Harato. It's like Harato, I think.
Yeah. And then, like, our Last Ronin, who's standing there, is the last of the Hamato clan. And it's this generational feud that has been passed down, and this war that has been passed down. This war that Splinter's master had fought, and that he fought, and that he trained his sons for. That Shredder had fought, and that he trained his daughter for, and now she had set her son up for.
Yeah, Oroku Hirato. Okay, yeah.
Hiroto,
I was making sure it was a combination.
Yeah, it's because I said you said Hamato, and I was like, I can't remember. I know it's an H, but all I'm getting is Hamato in my head.
Yeah,
but
and then there's like Hamato Yoshi. I was doing that in my head as like they kept saying names in one of the flashbacks.
Yeah.
Like, this, that. Like
yeah, try to keep track of the names could get a bit tricky when your brain doesn't focus like ours doesn't.
Yes.
But it broke it down to it's this family feud.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, that's what it's been this whole time. That's what it's been this whole time, is these families warring with each other.
And in a way it has, it feels very meta, because it's like we just said, we've been watching the Turtles fight the Foot Clan for like literal like generations at this point.
Yeah.
So it almost feels like very meta in that way.
And that's it. It has been generations, because it's like, we've watched the Turtles, but it's like their main villain hasn't been Shredder for so long. Like, I grew up watching them fight Shredder, and it's like, Shredder's not been the main bad guy and the leader of the Foot Clan for a long time. For decades, it's been his daughter, Karai.
Yes.
Karai has been the leader of the Foot Clan, and I'm like, that's how long this has been going on. Shredder's long gone at this point. Like, but yet that's who we grew up with. So it's like, it's literally been going for generations, even in the stories in the comics, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that's what one thing this book makes me want to do is like, I know like these comics have been really good for a while, just like the Turtles comics in general.
Yeah, I want to go buy them, man. I want to go get into them.
Yes,
absolutely.
Like, I would definitely want to start like reading them at this point, because I'm just like, just because I've heard, like, even aside from this, I've heard that they were good.
Yeah, and it's like, but this is it. This is the equivalent of like the end of everything. This is how it all. It's the final story, and it's like, and it's a done trope in a lot of stuff.
Yeah. Oh yeah, like I get God of, like, I don't know why, but I get like strong, like even like God of War vibes from this book.
I could see that'd be a video game. Last Ronin in a God of War style would be a hell of a game, man.
And maybe that's why too, because I know they're making one, but it just feels like such a story of like, not like just that lone warrior kind of vibe. I guess is where I'm drawing the comparisons.
Yeah, and that's it. And all right, let's.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say, okay, let's get into actual spoiler stuff with this here, because
yes, because I'm sitting here looking at like certain imagery.
Because like the first big mystery in the book, which if you have not read this and don't know it, please go read it.
Yeah.
The first big mystery is, for the whole first issue until the last page, we do not know who the Last Ronin is. Or if the internet spoiled it for you, you know. But it's like, you don't know. He doesn't wear the typical turtle colours. He is in full black with a black mask. He carries Donnie's bow staff, a broken katana from Leo, a sai from Raphael, a pair of nunchucks from Michelangelo, and what is it, batons, those tonfan things?
Tonfas, yeah.
Yeah, tonfas. Are like the main weapon he typically uses, but he carries all the turtles' weapons.
Yeah.
And of course, it's a comic, so you can't hear his voice.
Yeah.
And it's so funny as well, because they really play into that, because not only does he there, but the other turtles are there as well.
They do. We can get into it in a minute. They do some really cool stuff with that, though.
Yeah, like from the get go, like you don't see them, but you hear the voices in his head.
Yes.
His brothers are all in his head. But it's like, because you can't hear the voices and can't hear the tones and how they're talking, it's like, I don't know who's speaking.
Yeah, they play way into that at like in the first.
They play into that in the
Like,
first
so
issue.
good.
The whole first issue is the Last Ronin returns to New York, goes on a suicide mission. Forgot his name again. Karai's son.
Hiroto or
Yeah,
Oroku.
Hiroto. He's basically taken over.
Yeah.
He's in a tower, full charge of a walled off New York. That's walled off from the world around it, and it's in complete and utter dismay. And he's in one last final push to end this family feud. And what he basically decides is a suicide mission.
Yeah.
He goes, he attacks, he fails like he expected to, but he doesn't die. And he ends up getting saved. We don't know who saved him yet, and then he wakes up in the old turtle's lair, where he sees an older April O'Neil, and she reveals and says, "Welcome home, Michelangelo."
Yeah.
The Last Ronin being Michelangelo is such a smart decision,
Yeah.
and yet for me, he's the last one I would have expected to be this
There's
role.
so many layers to it, and I think that's why. It's like he'd be the last one anybody would expect to.
The happy-go-lucky, carefree, goofball of the group is this hardened.
Michelangelo's a party dude.
Yeah, exactly. Like, he's now this hardened Ronin that is hell bent on war against the Oroku clan and finishing this fight. And it is so not his character, but
Yeah.
it's perfect because, I looked at that front cover, The Last Ronin. Who's your automatic instinct? Because immediately I'm like, that has to be Raph.
Yeah.
That just screams
100%.
Raphael.
Oh yeah.
To go off like that as a Last Ronin, to go off crazy, like, that's a Raphael move.
That look on his face just on the cover, like, is definitely feels like it would be Raph more than anything.
Yeah.
Like Raph would go on a revenge spree like
Easy.
that. Yeah.
So to make it Mikey is insane. What did you think about that reveal? Because that was like the first big thing of this book's not going to go exactly where you think, that reveal.
Yeah. I mean, by the time I read it, I had already known, but it was really cool to see how they did it and how they went about it.
Mm-hmm.
Just because I'm like looking back at it, like we said, they're very vague on who's talking, and to see, and then to have the other turtles around there, also is just like clearly he's in his head too. So clearly he's still like, as much as he may not say it at first, like he's still working through some crap. Like he's still
absolutely
working completely through everything, and especially his suicide mission. He's just like, you know what, I'm done. We're gonna try one more time. But I love how they did it. Like, it's so, like, from the writing to the way it's executed, like onto the page, is so good. Like, that's I can only imagine like reading this issue by issue and just going, okay, I need the next one. Like,
Yeah.
I like ASAP.
Yeah, absolutely. And the story is so well done because leaving off that first issue, the issue's already grabbed you. It's already got your attention, and then it leaves off the fact of like, this is Mikey.
Yeah.
It makes you want to know what happens next. Like, how did he get to this stage? How did Mikey get here?
Yeah.
Like, any of the other turtles I could see flying off. Like, Raph, easily. Leonardo have pushed to it. Even Donatello, to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But, like, what made Mikey snap? And then the story goes forward in this really great, almost 3-part, like, time period telling of
I love the way they
present day flashbacks to what happened, like, 16 years ago.
Yeah.
When all of it kicked off, and the art changes. It's it's a little bit more sepia tony. It's almost got this different lighting look to it, whereas like
Hmm.
it's a flashback. And then you get him also talking about his journey of like what happened to him and his past from going into the mountains and all this stuff, where it goes into the old school
It's
Turtle
literally
comic style.
Mirage, like old school.
Yeah,
Yes,
like when they first kicked off the Turtle comics, and I'm
it's so
like,
crazy.
telling it all in completely different art styles. It's like you can tell this was a passion piece.
Hmm.
You can tell that Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird had a complete had the time of their lives on this comic, like creating
Yeah,
this and turning it into what it was.
yeah. I like the way they did the story because it reminds me of one of my favorite Halo games, Halo ODST, where
Mm,
you basically get placed as like a basically a shock trooper, and it's like this kind of wide linear open map for the most part in like the main campaign, like in the main part of the game. But there are objectives when you get there. You find like the helmet or something like that of the one of the other members that dropped that you're looking for, and you actually play through like a flashback kind of like that, and to see like what happened, like how they get lost or how they get separated, like, and that, like, to me it's just so, it's such a cool method of storytelling, and
it
it's a way to
really
keep
is.
the pace moving along, like the overarching story moving along, but also like showing you like what happened instead of like telling, I guess.
Absolutely, and going
Yeah.
forward, this is going to get probably confusing
Yeah.
because there's not really a linear way to go through the story from here
Yeah.
because everything like connects in different ways into different stuff.
Yeah.
Um, because we do find out what happened
Hmm.
to Mankey to get him to this point, and we find out about the first big thing is like because they're talking about like the time when like the big explosion happened and it finished off and Mikey like left and stuff and thought everyone was dead.
Yeah.
We get it hinted at that it was about 16 years ago
Yep.
because of another character's age confirmation, which we'll get into as well.
Yeah.
Um, but then before that, we also get a whole there was a kind of like 10-year peace treaty that we eventually got made for a little bit. That
Hmm.
was or that had been or there was a peace treaty that was made at 10 years before that had been broken.
Yeah.
And we get the whole backstory of like Casey and April are getting engaged and they're going to tell the turtles, and that all gets put on hold because the turtles bring in what looks to be a dying Master Splinter.
Yep.
As the Foot Clan have ended a peace treaty and have attacked, and Raphael goes off.
Yeah.
Everyone's there, everyone's regrouping, and Raphael goes on a rage filled revenge tour for what he
Yeah.
believes has killed his father, which it turns out Splinter isn't actually dead.
Yeah.
But Karai and him actually face off one on one, and Karai actually kills Raphael.
This part right here was like the rest of the flashbacks did to me didn't quite do as much justice because of the way like how crazy and impactful like this, that image where with all the arrows in him and stuff.
Yeah. Like he
That,
fights through the Foot Clan, he gets annihilated by them. He's like wet like Boromir times 100. Like he should be down.
yes, he just takes them all on, and just that image when you see all those arrows in him, and like literally like the shell's supposed to like, and it's crazy because like a turtle shell, that's supposed to be like their armor, like, so it's just seeing all those arrows just lit into him into his shell, and him just like burying it till like he
he
can't
take
anymore. Like that image is so good.
he takes all that, and it's the most subtle finish as well, because him and
Yeah.
Karai end up in the water, end up fighting and coming to blows underwater, and she literally just takes a blade and stabs him in the neck,
Yeah.
and he's gone. And it's like, and you know it's coming. You know what the story of the Last Ronin is. We know everyone else
Yeah.
is dead. The other turtles are
Yeah.
all dead. Mikey's the last one standing. There's something about seeing that first one, and I don't think any of the other deaths hit quite the same way. You don't see the other deaths in the same
They
light.
didn't. Yeah.
But to see like Raph just get taken out, and it's like, this is Raph, this is the fighter,
Yeah.
and just to be ended like that, it's like, wow.
It was kind of nice reading the when I was reading the digital ones, it had like the covers of each like issue or each volume.
Mm.
And so it was all like the shots of where like uh Raph's sigh, and then like the one right here of like Casey's mask and like the katana and
Yeah, those
stuff like
stuffs are.
that. It was just, yeah. As I go to the next one, I'd be like, oh, I know what I know what I'm in for with this one.
Yeah, like
Like,
your heart almost sinks. Like, oh no, like
yes,
I know what's coming.
yes. Here we go to the next one. Like, that's what was wild about the way this was written to me. It's just,
It was so well done across the issues.
yeah,
But yeah, the journey continues, and it's like 10 years later. And we get the next story, which is basically the Oroku clan want a peace treaty.
yep,
They want to have peace, and they send Splinter and Donatello off to Japan to have a peace talk with them. But as soon as they leave, the Foot Clan attack.
yep,
And start battling and overwhelming the turtles and their allies, as Baxter Stockman is hacked into Professor Honeycutt, who's a long-standing character who, I'll be honest, I didn't know even before this biology. I was saying that, like, he's not a character I really know, but he's been a long-running character in the comics of a professor that put his mind into this robot.
Yeah, the name always sounded familiar to me.
Yeah.
Like, I knew it was just one of those characters like I knew was always there over the years.
But he kind of ends up playing a main part, and Baxter Stockman basically is able to hack him and track where he is and finds the turtles. So Mikey is sent to get April to safety and get Dr. Honeycutt to safety and get them out the road, while Leo and Casey stay back to kind of hold them off, and basically they are not able to. They are fighting the oncoming swarms of people, the oncoming fights. Honeycutt is fighting against Stockman taking hold and not wanting to be a prisoner again, and says he would rather die than be taken prisoner again. And Baxter Stockman takes him up on it. And all his cyborg foot soldiers and Foot Clan that are there, along with all these Mousers and all these other things that he sent in, all explode. And they wipe out Casey, they wipe out Leo, and Mikey, who's the only one that fully gets away, is mostly unscathed, thinks that it wiped out April as well, who we find out wasn't. She was just injured. And it mostly wipes out Dr. Honeycutt, apart from his head, which goes into a stasis mode, which is important for stuff that comes up later.
Yep.
But Mikey thinks everyone's dead, and he then makes the trek. We see making his trek all the way to Japan to try and get Donnie and Master Splinter and tell them what happened, stop them from going into this and possibly being killed, only to arrive there and meets the rest of the clan that are there, who tell him, it's too late. The peace treaties weren't real.
Yeah, it was the rest of the Hamato, like Splinter's clan.
Yeah. He talks with the master of the Hamato clan that's there in Japan, who tells them, they were killed. Basically, the Roku clan had set up a trap, it came in to kill them and overwhelmed them. And I love the flashback of that, because for the first time ever, we really get to see Splinter like pop off.
Yes, there's some really cool shots of Splinter.
It felt like Attack of the Clones in Star Wars when they got to see Yoda pop off for the first time, and you're like, oh, that's why he's a master. It felt like that, getting to see Splinter like draw a katana and like jump into the fray.
He never like wields a sword, and when he says like, he's like, I wouldn't have brought a weapon if I did trust them. Basically, like, I was like, whew.
It's like, no, I didn't trust these guys. I didn't trust them at all. And
that's why I brought a weapon.
And he is determined to take Oroku's head and to finish him off.
Yeah.
And it basically calls him out as like this overgrown man-child
Yeah.
who has no honor, like Shredder had honor, Karai had honor. He does not.
Yeah.
He has no honor. He is just this man-child who is not capable of anything, and he goes for him. And he almost does it. He launches his katana and wounds him, but he doesn't get to take his head. And unfortunately, archers are called in and finish off Donnie and Master Splinter. And Mikey goes, and all he's got left then is Donnie's bow staff and Master Splinter's book, and he goes to train. To do what he has to do, which is finish the war. Finally bring it to an end. And it's just so good story, the way that they weave that into what's actually going on in modern day. Like the way they weave it throughout the 5 issues is phenomenal.
Because you still get pieces of like the modern like main like story, like so it's like they find a way. They found a good balance to give you nuggets of information from the modern time period, but then they also kind of explain what happened in the process.
Absolutely. It's handled so well. It's handled so well, and it's brilliant storytelling. Like seeing the way that it all plays out, it's brilliantly done. It's handled so well, and it's heart-wrenching because you see these characters that you love like going down. Like I said, none of them hits the way Raph does, because Raph feels a lot more graphic.
Yes, that's a good way to put it, because like with the other ones, they don't really get a lot like very detailed.
There's almost like the pan away, like Leo blew up, but you see the explosion, but then you just see like his sword and Casey's mask is like memories of them. You don't see them actually die. And you see the arrows coming at Donnie and Master Splinter, but you don't see the bodies after. You see the guys in the clan looking at them, but you don't actually see the bodies. With Raph, like you actually see his death on the page.
Yeah, like Raph, it's almost like a warrior's death kind of scenario. It's like, it was brutal, and like it was messed up and brutal, but he died fighting. Like he died of ultimate, like a warrior's death for sure.
Absolutely. And it's so well done. But all of this is tied up in the current story, which starts off, like we said, is the suicide mission that Mikey's on. That doesn't go to plan, and then he finds out that he's not the last of his family, because April's still alive. She lost her arm, she lost her leg, but she is still kicking.
Almost very like Sarah Connor, like, in my opinion.
Yeah, it does feel bit. Even the look of her, and the designer for the older her has a very Linda Hamilton like look to her face. It's like it's definitely an older, bit more grizzled April O'Neil, and I'm like, I kind of like it. It's kind of cool for her.
Yes, yeah, it fits. Again, of the era for sure. Absolutely.
Like again, packing into that like 80s, 90s action vibes that we were talking about a little bit. And then it turns out there's more family, because surviving the explosion, she found out she was pregnant with Casey's daughter, and has her own Casey Marie, who is 16 years old, which, you know, how we know he disappeared and came back is for 16 years is because she's 16.
Yeah.
And she's basically part of the resistance. Her and her mom both are. And Casey's got her own little crew and stuff that run about and do stuff in the city and are trying to fight back. And it's almost like, it's really cool to see like Michelangelo going from being hopeless to getting thrown back into it. It's weird to say, because it almost gives me like, okay, this is a weird comparison, but that's where my mind goes. Having recently watched it, it gives me like Doctor Who vibes in a sense, because in the episode The Doctor's Daughter, when he gets his DNA taken and they make Jenny, in the episode from season 4, he has a conversation with Donna where he kind of says, like, I had all that. I had a family. I had kids. I had all that stuff, but I lost it all. And when they died, that part of me died with it. And, like, part of me almost feels like that's where Mikey is.
Yeah.
Like, I had a family.
Yeah.
I lost all of that. I'm not here to open up my heart and take people in again and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, because in his mind, he should have just died on that mission. Like, and he's just like, I'm awake now. Like,
yeah,
I'm still awake. Like, why am I still awake?
Yeah, he fully thought it should have been done. So that's a very much the vibe I get from it, is like the him learning that there is still hope.
Yeah.
You know, and we see that in him, like, catching up with April and learning about her and what happened to her and her journey. Her moving back into the lair. She now lives in what was the turtle's lair. He gets to know Casey, who at first is very much like, she's a kid, I just don't want to see her get killed. And very much as he has conversations with his brothers, like we talked about, like, he sees his three brothers in his head and has conversations with them a lot, which is a really great comment I'll get into in a minute, is on grief and dealing with that.
Yes.
But, like, he's like, I don't want to do anything with Casey. She's a kid. She doesn't need to get dragged into this war, just like we were. We were dragged in as teenagers. And, like, and he's almost like, I don't even agree if that was right or not.
Yeah.
Like, we should we have been brought into this? We were trained all our lives.
That's a good
like,
way to look at it.
You know, and it's like, it's this really interesting thing of him. He's seeing the turtles at a point of questioning everything that they lived their lives for. They lived their lives for this. And he's almost like going forward with this, trying to end the war, because I'm like, I don't know anything else.
Yeah.
This is all I've been trained for, right or wrong, this is it. But I'm like, I don't want to drag other people in. And of course, as happens with the gruff older guy and the young girl that's put into his charge, as with any good post-apocalyptic story, he starts to soften. And he says he'll become our sensei and teacher.
Oh man, when they start calling him sensei, like, that to me was like major, like, growth moment. Like, not just because, like, oh, he's like the experienced one, or he's like, it's just like, no, like, he probably, like, that's a title he never saw.
No, you know, he never expected to ever be called that.
Yeah.
And there's a great moment after she calls him it for the first time and leaves, and then April appears behind him and tells him, like, Master Splinter would have been proud.
Yeah.
And that is almost like it's a heart-wrenching moment of like, oh.
Yeah.
Where it's like he's taken up the mantle of his father. And it's like, it's such a cool moment. It's so well done. But yeah, so what did you think of, like, the modern setting in this world that we're in, the journey that we took with April and Casey, and what did you think of this set?
It was awesome. I like the way they introduced Casey, because you don't really know who this character is at first, and there was a lot, like, the whole Michelangelo being the focus was, like, the thing that the internet spoiled, and I really didn't know much else about it.
Yeah.
So when they did that reveal too, I was like, oh, okay, like, that's cool. So I didn't know, like, how much into things, like, the book was gonna get, because I didn't know if I really expected that or not, and it was neat. Like, that training moment with Casey was really cool. But what I didn't expect was the twist, or was the thing where he's just like, when he's like, how long did you know that she was gifted? Basically, how long? So I was like, what? Like, because I don't know if I, like.
No, it says that in the book, and there's no hint. Like, as a reader, I never picked it up, and I'm like, what do you mean? What do you mean she's gifted? Like, what?
So I don't know if that should be, like, it's such a cool idea and such a cool twist that I'm like, I don't know if, like, we should, like, if it's a bad thing we didn't get that hint, but also the book tries to do so many other things at the same time that's like, I could kind of forgive that being kind of missed, or maybe if
Yeah,
we missed it somewhere.
I
But I'm just like, okay, that's cool.
I feel like that's one of those things of like there could have been more hints to it, like just one or two things just pointing out to it,
Mhm.
because like
Well,
he
you know,
says
they're
it and you're
great.
kind of like there's almost one of those things
Yeah.
of like it'd be really cool to have a callback of like, you know, like, so how long has she been gifted, and you think back, oh, there was that thing there that explains
Yeah.
that now. I wondered about that, you know, like, but I never really got any moments like that.
I feel like we're just supposed to assume because of because she's been fighting like against the Foot
Yeah.
Clan or and like being a resistance person. So I
I
think
th-
we're supposed to like get that from
I think
that.
it's one of those things of like my only complaint against the Last Ronin is that
Yeah.
some of it suffers because of time.
Yes.
You don't get me wrong, they're expanded issues, or 5 issues that are probably about the length of 10 issues when you go
Oh
into it.
yes.
But the way that the world is set up, it's
This
like,
book is thick. Yeah.
yeah, the way the world is set up, there's so much stuff where you're like, I wish we had more time with that. And
Yeah.
there's another thing I'll get into in a minute that I think suffered because of the lack of time.
Hmm.
But that was definitely one of those things. Like, I think there could have been more time to set that up, but at the same time, I kind of like that twist as well, because I think I do anyway, because it's like it almost like ties into that it's his family. Like,
Hmm.
it's because the whole twist obviously is that she's a mutant. She's been empowered by the mutagen that they were
Yeah.
exposed to. Because April has a whole conversation with Mikey when she does like a checkup on him,
Yeah.
and that his mutation has evolved. It's
Yeah.
changed, and he's gotten bigger and stronger and more resilient. And she's like, yeah, that's what's happened to her. She's stronger and faster and heals quicker than she should as a 16-year-old girl. Like, there's no reason she
Yeah.
should be able to do this stuff. And it's
Yeah.
because of extended exposure to the mutagen for
Which
Casey and
is
April hanging around them.
that's kind of hilarious, and it feels cheesy at the same time, but it's also like really cool at the same time because you're like, oh yeah, I guess that could be a thing. Like
It
if you're
may
spending a lot of time with that, yeah,
it makes sense because it's this chemical substance that, like, what the hell was this stuff? And it's like there's just been
yeah,
hanging around with people who are literally created because of it. There would be some
like that
carryover.
radiation is still there, I guess. Like,
Part of it also does give like vibes of like some of the stuff they've tried to do in Marvel and DC a little bit without going too graphic with their telling of it. Of like
yeah,
how Spider-Man and one of like the like, oh, I can't remember the name of the story now, but it's like they do like a kind of like end of day Spider-Man thing where he's basically done being Spider-Man.
yeah,
And there's a whole storyline to it, like where he killed Mary Jane basically because he had radioactive sperm.
yeah,
And it's like, so like, yeah, so anytime he shied her, he was basically getting her, infecting her with more radioactive genes, and it ended up killing her. And
yeah.
it gave hints of stuff like that without like overly gross
Like,
and going that way.
yeah, like it seems really silly, but at the same time, it's like, oh yeah, I guess that kind of makes sense in a way.
My own,
Like
it makes sense, I think, a little bit, and it makes sense
a
in
little
terms
bit.
of like the fact of it's Casey and it's April's kid, but it's also
Yeah.
she's part of him as well a little bit.
Hmm.
My only
I
thing
couldn't.
is, if you
Yeah,
remove it, I don't know if you lose anything. I feel like
that's
it's one of
true.
those things of like, if you take it out, I'm like, I don't know if there's a difference.
It it didn't need to be in there necessarily.
No, because I mean, even in the last issue, like when she's doing the stuff and trying to help save people, like
Mhm.
it's not like it plays a major factor. You could
It's
just
not like
go,
you see
you
her
could say it
doing
doesn't
these.
need to be there.
Yeah, you never really see her doing any amazing feats of strength or really like healing or anything. Anyway.
No, like I was going to say, there's a whole thing in is it issue 4 where they go to attack Baxter Stockman's like
Hmm.
compound, and it's this whole crazy war, and I'm like, have her pop off,
Yeah, and they
do
don't really.
something.
Yeah,
Like that big monstrosity that comes from Michelangelo, and he's looking down like, what the hell is that thing? Have her go, I don't know, pick it up or something. Like, you know, do
yeah,
something insane to show that she's not like normal human, because there
yeah.
isn't really enough to go like, yeah, that actually makes sense. It's like, if you hadn't told me that, it's like, it doesn't feel like it's a thing.
Yeah.
You know, that's my only issue with it.
Hmm.
Um, and then for my elephant in the room of the other thing I think was affected by time, I think was the villain.
Yeah.
I
I
just
could see that.
I think it would have been different if the villain had been Karai.
Yeah, because it lacks weight, I guess, a little bit with it being like. I got very Kylo Ren vibes from the villain.
Yes, and not in a good way.
Yes, like yeah,
Like
because that whole
petulant
bit,
child throwing a fit is
when he's like on the roof or whatever, and he's like cursing his family. I'm
what
just like
the
that.
was that scene?
Yeah,
He's on the. I read that in my head, and I automatically gave him the most psychotic voice for that scene.
yeah.
He looks like he's put a blanket over his head and he's sitting on the roof
Hmm.
monologuing to himself, and I'm like, what is going on? And he
Yeah,
does nothing like that in the rest of the book. Like, what are you
yeah,
doing?
yeah.
And like, don't get me wrong, they got across like the crazy vibes. Like he's clearly like he's because the whole thing is he's not as honourable as Shredder or Karai. He's not got the
Right.
honour of them. He's clearly the petulant child throwing his pacifier out the buggy. Like I'm not wanting to do this. Why? This isn't going my
Again,
way.
Kylo Ren. Like all the bad
Yeah.
parts of Kylo
It's all the
Ren.
bad parts of Kylo Ren, even the fact that like he's kept his mother there. So like, okay, he's got mummy issues. No, he's keeping her there because like she'll suffer to be here for all of this. And I'm like,
Mhm.
okay. And I'm like, I get playing the character like that, and that's the thing is like, I kind of like I understand where it's coming from.
Yes.
I just wonder if we had more time with the character,
Hmm.
if it would have allowed us to experience it better.
Yeah.
Because I felt like it was a case of it was more like he was generic villain number 5. Picked
Yeah.
off the lineup and put into place. Like you could have put anybody in there.
Yeah, it was very much sequel trilogy kind of like vibes in that way.
Yeah.
Just, oh, he's the descendant because we need another one of
We
those.
need
Like,
a new era of Darth Vader, but we're going to play it this way,
in a
and
way,
it's like,
Casey feels like that too.
mm.
Yeah.
And that's the thing though, is like it's one of those things of like that you could have easily had it go a different direction, but I think because they played it like the petulant child way again,
Hmm.
and it was just like there's not enough time to get to know him, and it was like you're trying to make a shredder without making a shredder. I mean, hell, even his
Yeah.
final outfit that he fights Mikey in is like a
Was
nanotech shredder outfit.
yeah.
And like,
Yeah.
oh, does that not just cry Kylo Ren yelling "grandfather" at his dead grandfather's helmet? Like
Yeah.
it's like, dude,
Yeah.
you're not Shredder. You're not even
Yeah.
close. And I'm like, give me a bigger downgrade. Like, you're not Shredder. You're not even your mom. Like, if it was Karai, it would make sense because it's like she'd finally won. The Foot Clan's finally in charge, and Mikey's coming
Yeah.
to put an end to it. I get the whole story is the next generation. So that's why we get Casey Marie
Yep.
and why Mikey starts taking her on and teaching her, and why we've got the new Oroku in charge, and why we've got because it's about the fact that this is a generational war that just keeps going, and it has to be stopped. That's the whole purpose of it. But I'm like, he was just not a strong villain.
Mm-mm.
I'm not gonna lie, even in the final fight, like spoilers for the final fight, he dies. Mikey kills him.
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
sure what happened. His suit
Yeah.
just started popping off electricity and he was all of a sudden dead. And I'm
Yeah.
like, did Mikey do that? Did he do something to him? Did he just damage the suit enough that, well, I don't know quite what
Yeah, because they
happened.
kept fighting, and then after a while, he was like, "Oh yeah, your suit's starting to weaken." And I'm just like, "Okay,
It's
all
like,
right,
is it? You've literally mentioned like 3 times how you've stabbed him and it's healed the wound and covered it over again. I'm like, all of a
Yeah.
sudden, haha, you're in a mud pool now. It's weakening. Like, is it?
yeah,
Why?
yeah."
Why is it weakening? I don't understand. It's
Yeah.
like, because we need this to be done by issue 5. That's why.
Yes.
It's what it
Yes.
felt like. And I was like,
Yeah.
okay. And it was just very much like, it felt like a cool concept that just didn't get the
Mhm.
chance to flesh out the villain. And I'm like, and that happens a lot
Yeah.
with this stuff, with these
And I
kind
did
of
like
stories.
that. When they introduced the whole like the final fight, like when they were getting there was really okay, like I get what they're trying to do. Like this issue 5 is the most comic booky thing out of like the whole story.
Issue 5 is literally just the two of them fighting.
Yeah, yeah.
Mikey making his way, infiltrating to where he is from the first couple of
Mhm.
pages, and then it's just them kicking the utter crap at each other for the
Yeah.
rest of the issue. It's like,
Yeah.
and I'm not mad. It's a cool fight.
Yes.
It's a
It
very
is.
cool fight. I'm not complaining at that.
Like we're being extremely like this is still an amazing book and we're being extremely nitpicky in like I feel like the best way possible. Like
Yeah, we're being
it's
nitpicky with
still
some of this
cheesy as
stuff.
hell.
Like the stuff that I'm saying,
But
like we could have had more time to expand on this. This is me, like, if there is an
yes.
issue with the book,
Yes.
I still thoroughly enjoyed this book.
Oh
I
yeah.
still thoroughly enjoyed it. And there's so much that goes on. I mean, we've been talking for like nearly an hour already on this.
Yeah.
It's like, this book is so well done. It's such a great story. It's such a great journey for Michelangelo. It has such a great story of the past. We
Yeah.
even have a whole issue 4, the whole battle with Baxter Stockman and taking out his island. We didn't even get into, which is just a cool fight scene as a whole.
Yes.
Whereas like the last issue is a one-on-one like final boss fight, this is like a whole infiltration,
Like
take out
like the
the.
final death of Baxter Stockman feels like it has weight to it because of like that's a generational villain. Everybody knows who
Everyone knows who
Baxter.
Baxter Stockman is, and somehow as well, I love the whole thing of setting up for like the big explosion that killed Leo and Casey, injured April, and destroyed Dr. Honeycutt was
Mhm.
Baxter Stockman's final push. And I
Yeah.
love the fact that they invade and Baxter Stockman grabbing Honeycutt's head and turning him back on ends up being his undoing. It's such a
Mhm.
cool moment of him trying to get the information that he's got, the whole stuff he's been trying to get for decades at this point.
Yep.
And he
Ends up killing
basically, he Gandalfs him and like, you shall not pass, and tells him,
Yeah.
this is for my family, this is for my friends, this is for the city, and freaking like erodes them into nothingness, like
Yeah.
disintegrates them. It's like, holy crap. And that's the whole thing. Like, that's the start of the downfall, because like that was what controlled this power in the city and controlled all the police force that were like maintaining it. And it's such a
Mhm.
cool fight. Like, there are so many cool moments in this book.
Oh yeah.
And then of course we get the finale of it. We talked about like the death of the villain. Oroku goes down, and having been stabbed earlier, the
Mhm.
book ends with Michelangelo succumbing to his wounds. Casey
Yeah.
and April find him, but he ends up dying. And the last of the turtles dies at the end of the Last Ronin, which
Yeah.
I didn't think was going to happen.
Yeah.
I
I didn't either.
I felt like it should, but I didn't think they would have the balls to do it.
This is like I guess part of me goes back to the God of War vibes a little bit because it's like this is what should have happened in like the most recent God of War. Like I just feel like they didn't have the balls to do it.
Yeah,
But like this story had the balls to do it. Like I'm just like, oh,
yeah.
like yeah, it's emotional. Like no matter what.
Seeing him go down, having completed his final mission, and it's basically allowed to pass, and then they have a whole moment of like him reuniting with his brothers and Master Splinter and
Yes.
Casey, and like on a rooftop in New York in the
It
afterlife,
even
and
goes
it's
back
like,
to like kind of the old school like look and old school vibes to it,
yeah,
which is really cool.
it's so well done. And then of course we also get a little epilogue where April and Casey are living life now. She's still learning because he bequeathed Master Splinter's book to her so that Casey could keep studying and learning and
Yeah.
reading. But she also now has a little environment set up in the lair with 4 turtles. So it's like history continues and repeats itself.
Yeah.
And it's just, it's a phenomenal book.
Yeah. It's interesting too because what is the next series called? Like the Lost Years or something like that? Or I
Yeah,
forgot
it's
what
like
the.
there's more sequels to the Last Ronin stuff, which of course there is. The book was freaking successful. Of course, there's
Yeah,
going to be
it
more.
doesn't surprise me, but when I saw there was like this could just end the way it was, and they could have never touched it again, and it would have been okay. But I
It's the
get it.
equivalent of TMNT Logan. Like that should be the finale.
Yes, that's the perfect way to describe this book. Actually, this is straight up TMNT Logan.
Yeah, and then
Yeah.
Deadpool came along and dug him up, and
That's true. Even that is not
it's not a
what it was
finale
supposed
anymore.
to
Like
be,
it's
though, I
literally a
guess.
because it's like the Last Ronin did well, and immediately they went, "Oh, we need more Last Ronin books." I'm like, "But he died. I can't. The Last Ronin
Yeah.
died. Like I can't do more books." I'm like, "That's fine." Well,
Yeah.
because they did the Last
Mikey.
Days, and then I think there's
Yeah.
a sequel as well for it, which I'll be honest, I've not read those ones, to see
Same.
what they're like about. But I'm like, for me, this is it. No matter what the turtle main storyline is that you follow, this is the finale.
Yeah, there's so many. Then this is because there's still Turtles stuff coming out. There's like this never meant that they were going to be done doing Turtle
Oh
stuff
no,
forever.
turtles are going to be one of those things that I think every generation is going to have the turtles
Mhm.
in some shape or form.
Like I saw that I have the book. I need to read it, but they've been doing crossovers with Power Rangers,
Yeah, I think
and
they're on
I
like the
have
third one or
the
something
third
like
one.
that.
I have the first time they did it, and then I saw the other day Boom Studio Facebook page. I was like,
They
holy crap, they're on the third one.
they have done
I
multiple
was like,
crossovers with the Power Rangers. They have done multiple crossovers with Batman. They have done crossovers with
mhm,
the Ghostbusters. They have
yeah,
like the turtles have done crossovers with so many.
with everything. I even saw they're in Raid Shadow Legends recently.
Yeah, like they were in freaking what was it, the Injustice game they got into, Injustice 2 back when it
Yes.
came out.
Oh my
Like
gosh.
they have crossed
Yes,
into
that was
everything.
so good.
The only comic that is not crossed over with them, I don't think, which is kind of insane when you think about it, I think is Daredevil.
Yep.
Which
Yep.
I'm like, considering like the whole connected lore of how they started, which is kind of funny. I'm
When y'all first told me about that stuff, I was like, that is amazing.
Yeah, like for anyone who doesn't know, like the original Turtles comics, the ooze that goes down and like it gives them their powers. In the original comic panels, it's a crash that happens that a little boy gets stuff on him as well, and it goes down there, and it's meant to hint that it's the crash that gave Matt Murdock his powers is the same stuff that gave the Turtles their ooze, their powers from the ooze. Even the Foot
That's my
Clan
head
is a
canon.
play on the hand. The Daredevil
Yeah.
enemy is a play on the hand. So I'm surprised that's never been a crossover we've had in the
Even
comics.
if it's not real canon, like that's definitely my head canon.
Headcanon, that's a thing now, and I'm like, because I think because it was definitely put in as like an
Like a nod or
homage
Easter. Yeah,
to
homage. There you go.
like to the Daredevil stuff, I think. But it's like it's one of those things like clearly they're never going to say yeah it's the same universe
Mhm.
because of course they're not. But it's
Yeah,
like the fact there's never been a crossover for them is insane.
that would be perfect.
I'm like that there has to be at some point. Like that has to be something. But no, I adored this book. I
Yeah, same.
Everything was peak. The storytelling was phenomenal. The artwork was amazing. All three variants of the artwork. The
Pacing was really good. Like it never slowed down enough for me to like get tired or get bored. Like it just
no,
kept going.
it was so good. It's so well done, and I'm like, this is peak storytelling for the Turtles.
Yep.
If you want to get in the Turtles anywhere, and the best thing is as well, although it's tied to the IDW like comic line, like you don't need to read that. You can just pick
Yeah.
this up. You can just go and snag this and pick it up, and it is well worth it.
Yeah.
It is well worth doing them. Like even if you've just sat and like listened to us talk about it, you've not read it yourself, and we've just spoiled it all for you. First of all, sorry, but we did warn you. But
Yeah.
no, this is go read it for yourself.
Yeah.
This is like top tier. This is one of the top books that we've covered on the show, 100%. We've had a few that I've been like, this is the top. I don't think Last Ronin reaches the top for me, but it's definitely like
It's
one of the
it's
top books.
pretty dang close.
Yeah, it's like off the top of my head, I want to say at least top 3, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Top
Oh, yeah.
5, if not, but it very easily could be a top 3.
Yeah.
You know, and there is stuff in there that's kind of like, this could probably have been, you know, they could have tightened this up, or maybe if that played out differently. But like I said, that's us being very nitpicky.
Yeah.
But no, I adored this book. I think this was phenomenal.
We pick at it because we love it.
Yeah, that's it. As we're closing up, then, any last thoughts on The Last Ronin? Anything we've not covered yet?
It's good. It's accessible. I'm pretty sure this was like $15 on Amazon or something. Even if that,
Yeah,
you could probably get it at any bookstore. They probably have this.
pretty much most comic stores and bookstores will probably carry it. It's popular enough, and if not Amazon, I'm pretty sure will put it on sale as often as they can. Like, it's one of those things that goes on sale.
There will be no issues tracking this down.
No.
At all.
Absolutely not. Highly recommend. I think it's a highly recommend from both of us. Go and check this book out for yourself. So this video is dropping very quickly after I was recording it, because this was meant to be out before, but like I said, a whole bunch of stuff was going on. This is our September drop, or it's meant to be at least. We'll see if I get it out in September. Maybe early October. But coming up, we actually have some big indie comic book club shows coming up, because that is spooky month. It is October. We love us some horror comics here on the channel. We have covered some cracking horror comics here on the channel during October. If you want to go check out our previous indie comic book clubs and them, checked out stuff like Witches and The Devil That Wears My Face and Something Is Killing the Children. This time, we are going to be checking out Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees. And
looks good.
Before you ask, no, this is not a kid's book. I know the artwork very much looks like it. Although you can see the bloody bag getting dragged on the front cover. Like, this is the comic book equivalent of Sausage Party. It's like, please understand what you're reading before handing it to your child. Just because it's a comic doesn't mean a child should read it. It's I've flicked through it at least, and it gets gruesome.
Nice.
This might be one of the bloodiest comics with some of the stuff in it. But apparently there's meant to be another one coming out, or at least I heard that. I don't know if there is, but I heard rumors of it. So I'm like, this is kind of the perfect time to check it out. So we're going to check out Beneath the Trees Where Nobody Sees for Halloween. And then guess what? You like the Indie Comic Book Club if you like hearing us talking about this. What, less than a week later? You're going to be getting another one, because this is going to drop in for Halloween, and then we're going to drop one for the 5th of November as we check out the classic comic V for Vendetta. I have never read the comic. It is one of my favorite movies. I adore V for Vendetta, the movie. I think it's amazing. And it is long overdue for us to check it out for Indie Comic Book Club. So I cannot freaking wait to read this one and check it out. So we've got some good stuff coming. If you've not been keeping up with stuff on the channel, I am holding back on comic reviews specifically right now. So that's why you've maybe not seen as much from us. Just with all the stuff we've got going on, I just don't have the time to put into it, or the energy to put into it. But I want to make sure we keep doing Let's Talk Comics and Indie Comic Book Club, so you guys are at least getting something on the comics channel for us, and we're going to make them as good as we can for you to come and check out. But massive thank you to LJ for joining me for today's Indie Comic Book Club. Absolute pleasure talking Last Ronin with you.
I love doing this.
It's been an absolute pleasure, sir. For everyone watching, thank you for coming and hanging out with us. And remember, it is a good week to be a geek. Take care. We'll see you all next time. Peace.